I'm surprised the paper's not here. Can you hear me okay in this? All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is 6 p.m. It's time for our meeting to begin. A few people here tonight. Welcome. Thank you for coming. There is a lot of people. Please refrain from talking in the audience tonight. You can go to the hallway or you can go outside. Make sure your cell phones are on silent. And we'll try to get through this as best as possible. All righty. We do have a quorum tonight. All members present except for Alderman Dan Bailey. We'll start with a prayer and a pledge. If you'll all rise, Mr. Cates, would you lead us in prayer?
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we just thank you so much for this another day you've given us. We just thank you for the many blessings you restore upon us each day. Thank you for this board, Father. Just give us a wisdom to make the right decisions to move our town forward. We thank you for our citizens. I pray you just lay a hand on them, protect them, and keep them safe. Just go with us and just everything we say and do, Lord, I pray it be pleasing to you. I pray and ask these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, next on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Mr. Ellis, I believe you had something you wanted to add. I think on old business on C, when we authorize the water rate and sewer rate, we need to have a public hearing on that. Is that correct?
Correct.
Any other additions or deletions? Are we good?
Yes, we're good.
All right.
Sorry.
I make a motion to accept the agenda as amended.
Motion from Alderman Hummel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Austin. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Okay. Next on the agenda is citizen comments. Before we get to the citizens' comments, I know some of you are here to speak on specific items. Later in the agenda, if you are here to speak about the budget or the tax rate, or if you are here to speak about the water and sewer rates, you will have more time to come up and speak during the agenda part of those items. So it would be best to wait. Is there anyone else who wants to speak about things that are on the agenda? This is approved. This portion of the agenda is reserved for public comment from residents of the town of Oakland who wish to comment on matters that are on tonight's agenda. Speakers shall limit their comments to 3 minutes unless allowed by the chair, and the total length for this period shall not exceed 10 minutes. Does anyone wish to come forward to speak? Come forward.
I'd like to speak to item 5, citizens' comments, which is clearly printed on the agenda. The 3 minutes, 10 minutes not to exceed is the absolute minimum. This board could easily, with 3 hands doing this, say, that's ridiculous, that's stomping down freedom of speech. We're not interested in what our people have to say. We want to make sure that we don't hear from them, et cetera, et cetera. It's kind of the opposite of what people say when they're not sitting up there. It should be extended considerably, so if you have 5 people sitting here that want to speak for 3 minutes, they should all get a chance to speak their 3 minutes, not because 3 people went in front of them and so now they can't even speak. It's anti-American. It's against the concept of the First Amendment, and it really it does not speak well to this board, nor does it speak well to Oakland. I think that should be changed. Thank you.
you. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak tonight? Okay. Mr. Newhouser, I would direct you to take that up with the state. We are following state guidelines with this. This is exactly the way it is at the county commission. And the school board, you must submit your name before the meeting starts, or you are not allowed to speak. We don't extend that at this meeting. All right. Under consideration of other business, the first item is the Industrial Development Board. I have a list of nominations. Mr. Ellis, if you want me to talk about this, I think I have.
Yes, sir.
All righty. I do apologize for the late notification. I wish you guys would have had this I wish I would have had these names 2 weeks ago for your consideration. But to start, the Industrial Development Board is specifically created to seek out businesses that are not located in Oakland and try to attract them to come to our town. It's better for our residents, gives you more places to shop, so you don't have to go to other towns or other counties. You can stay here, and it will provide significant dollars back to the town over the periods of years. To get this started, there is a 7-member board. Each person serves in a 6-year term. At the outset of this board, there will be staggered terms. 2 people will start with only a 2-year term, 2 people will serve a 4-year term, and 3 people will serve in a 6-year term. The aldermen have the names in front of them. I'm going to go through some of these names. I'll go through all of them so the public can hear them. And I'll say a few things about each one of them. The 2 people for the 2-year term, it's going to be Mr. Ken Sutton. He is a former alderman here. His expertise include law enforcement and transportation. Mr. Dave Trosper, local State Farm insurance person. He's also on the Chamber of Commerce. For the 4-year term, I have Mr. Blake Daigle. Blake is the manager, I wanted to get it right, the manager of engineering for Chickasaw Electric. He has over 30 years of experience in utility work. And also Mr. Paul Witt. Paul Witt is one of only 2 assistant fire chiefs for the town of Collierville. He's a former fire marshal. He has over 30 years of fire experience, and firemen know an awful lot about building construction and layout. The 6-year terms are going to be Ms. Holly Holland. She's the branch manager at Guarantee Bank here in Oakland. She's lived in Oakland for 20-something years. She's been a resident of Fayette County for over 40 years. There's another name, Mr. Aaron Poland. Mr. Aaron Poland is a partner in the restaurant Villa Castriati. They have several locations here in Tennessee, including Shelby County and Nashville. He currently operates a restaurant in the exact type of buildings and businesses that we're trying to attract here. And the last name on the list is Mr. Vinny Blue. Vinny Blue is a resident. He's a concerned citizen. He's in the bond industry. All of these are high-quality individuals. I'm glad that they choose to live in Oakland. It took a long time to find people who are willing to serve as volunteers and have the expertise that is provided for this type of board. We do need a variety of people from various backgrounds to fill these positions. So those are the names. We wanted to get this done tonight because if the budget passes, there will be money to implement tomorrow. So does anybody there are a few of the members here tonight. Is there any alderman who has any questions or would like to make a comment? Yes, sir.
They have a Paul Witt. He and I went to EMT school together. He's a heck of a good guy. He does know firefighting. He knows building.
I tried to find high-quality people. Alderman Hummel?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I do personally know Vinny Blue. I've known him here in Oakland for at least 3 years, maybe a little bit over than that. He's a very active citizen, and I'm very excited about having him as a nomination on there.
Ken Sutton served, I think, maybe 8 years as alderman, and his job requires a lot of math and stuff, so he I think he'll do a good job. I think all these people will. If, just get it together, get it set up, and get it going is the main thing. We gotta get it off the ground as quick as we can to get some of these good businesses out here.
If there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept it.
I have a motion to accept the list of candidates from Alderman Cates. Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Alderman Hummel. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All righty. Next on the list is a professional services agreement, Godwin and Associates CPA. Mr. Ellis?
Actually, Mayor, we're going to address that under Section 8, Item 8. That should have been removed. I apologize.
That's okay.
We're going to address that later in the agenda.
I just thought you wanted it on there twice.
No.
All right. Then we will move to old business. And first on old business is ordinance 2505, which is adopting the fiscal year 2026 annual operating and capital budget. Mr. Attorney, do I get a motion to hear and then go into a public hearing, or do I have a public hearing first?
You can open the public hearing.
Then I will declare a public hearing open. Normally, I like to get people who are for or against, but tonight, I'm sure there's a lot of people who here wish to speak, and I will just take people as I see hands go up. Is there anyone here who wants to speak on the budget that Oakland will adopt tonight? Anyone to speak on the budget? Seeing no one coming forward, I will declare the public hearing closed. I'll entertain a motion from the alderman. I need a motion to hear ordinance 2505.
Make a motion to hear it.
Motion to hear from the vice mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Campbell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Ellis, I think you know a lot more about the budget than...
You guys were given this tonight. It's a summary of the budget. Since our last work session, the last vote, we added one more person to Park and Rec and one more person to Public Works Department.
But that was passed in the last
That was
meeting.
passed in the last one. Nothing's changed since the last vote. Just wanted to remind you what's in here. $1 million for paving. I just hit a few high spots. Same thing that we discussed in the work session. Nothing new. It's the same thing you guys passed on the first reading.
Did you say total on paving?
1 million.
Is that just for 1 year shot with this budget?
That's for this budget, upcoming budget year, yes.
I want to clarify that,
Yes, sir.
that it's not every year, just this budget.
Just
year.
this upcoming budget, 1 million, yes, for paving.
Any questions or comments from the alderman? I'll give you a few minutes to flip through it.
And if you notice on the very first page at the bottom of the, about the middle, the 10.882%, in the first work session, without the proposed tax increase, that was about 4%. Street fund, the second chart down, if you look at that, just another point that we'd already discussed. You look at the previous years, that last line, it's been a loss. This year, we're going to show $86,000 to the good in that. And the reason is that the paving is coming out of general fund and public works.
So it won't be either coming out of general fund for the paving, or is it just part?
This general fund and public works, which is all general fund, yes.
It all goes to general fund.
Yeah.
It gets allocated in a line item in a budget.
Right.
And just to clarify, I know some people, we're not hiring more people just to hire more people to have the same number of other towns. The point of the comment last time was towns much smaller than us have more people to do the work. We get an awful lot of complaints on tall grass, not getting weeds cut. Why does it take so long to fill potholes? having more hands to do the work solves those problems. It's what the public keeps saying they are interested in. That's what this budget reflects. I think Mr. Ellis did a very good job on this budget.
It was a team effort.
I know him and Miss Lori both spent a lot of time on it.
Yes. If everyone's done and there's no comments or questions, I'll entertain a motion whenever you're ready.
Just for clarification, does this budget, does tax stay the same?
Yes, this is at the proposed, leaving the tax rate as,
Just so
As is.
everybody in the audience understand.
yes.
I mean, how much money will be added to the general fund if this is passed this
A
evening?
little over 800,000.
Okay, and we're a little low on that. We
Yes.
need to shore it up. Okay,
Any department we have can absorb that 800,000, to be honest with you.
Case of mercy, we'd be in a mess.
Yes, sir.
I make a motion to pass it.
I have a motion to pass the budget by the vice mayor. Is there a second?
I second.
Second from Alderman Hummel. All in favor? Should we do a roll call vote? It was
I
unanimous.
think so. Well,
Yes.
All righty. Mr. Campbell?
Yes.
Ms. Austin?
Yes.
Ms. Hummel?
yes.
Vice Mayor Cates?
Yes.
That is 4 for yes, 0 for no. Motion passes. We have a budget to start tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next is ordinance 2506, establishing the municipal property tax levy for fiscal year '26. At this point, I will declare a public hearing open. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on the property tax rate for next year? If so, raise your hand. Debbie? Please state your name and address for the record when you come forward.
Debbie Couch, 635 Fair Oaks Drive. I was under the assumption that, and really not the assumption, I've been to the comptroller's website, and the property tax rate is established by the city council or the county commission. The assessments are done by the state and provided. In the reappraisal year, the local governing body intends to adopt a tax rate that would generate more revenue than the previous year. A public hearing must be advertised and held. I agree property taxes probably need to go up a little bit, but 40% is quite a burden. I know my property assessment went up 40%, and the reason I moved out here is low tax rate, great services, not a lot of drama, and that's why I'd like to keep it.
Thank you, Ms. Couch. Come on, Roy. While Roy's coming up here, I do agree with you. I don't like tax raises. The property tax is the least popular of all the taxes that there are. I will say that someone contacted me a few weeks ago. They were very concerned because they keep focusing on that 40%, you know. If you bought something for $1 and you went back a few weeks later and it was $1.40, you'd probably just buy it and not think about it. Technically, that's a 40% increase in that item. And this person that called me, they thought that their mortgage was going to go up 40%. And I said, no, it's your tax rate. And when she found how much tax she paid, after doing the math, it turned out that her mortgage was going to increase $19.80. And she said, oh, I can afford that. And so, sorry, Roy, go ahead.
It's quite all right. I'm too talking about the 40% tax increase. It's amazing that we go back to the rate that we used to have, not the rate that we have currently. As I believe our rate currently is 4.55, blah, 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 blah. And we're going to 6.3, a rate that we used to have. Let's don't pass it off as we're keeping the same old rate, because it's not the rate today. Now, it's probably going to change to 6.3 in a couple of minutes, but let's don't pretend that it is that now. The 40% additional monies that we are going to be collecting from property tax, is already figured into the budget that we just passed. So you passed the budget even before you knew if you were going to pass this tax rate. Now, I'm sure after very careful consideration, lots of work, diligently looking at the amount of money that this town needs to spend on essential services, it just so happened to miraculously, bang, be 6.3 like it always has been. Not 62.5, not 64, not any other figure, just a miracle that it happened to be the same that it was before. I personally find that hard to believe because I don't believe in that big a coincidence, okay? I think we need to look at this tax rate much more carefully and find out how much of this is going to essential services and how much of this is going to pay interest that just disappears out of Oakland forever. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who wishes to speak on the tax rate this evening? Come on up. And while you're coming here, I have another thought. We are going up, if this were to pass tonight, from 45 cents to 63 cents is 18 cents. Here in Oakland, and I don't know, maybe this is something the board needs to think about changing. You know, we go for a few years and we have no tax increase. And then we adjust what we need to carry forward the budget. I talked to the mayor of Piperton a couple of times over the last week and a half or so. You know, they go up on their taxes. He had a 5 cent property tax, a 10 cent property tax, and a 6 cent property tax all in the past 3 years. If you add those numbers together, that's 21 cent increase, but they do it incrementally. We tend to keep your taxes the same for as many years as we can get by with it. And even then, we're still going up less than a town that's a lot smaller than we are. But go ahead. Please state your name and address for the record.
Gary Borth, 100 Lewis Fairway Circle, Oakland resident for the last 15 years. And I guess we flipped to my second page out here, Oakland property taxes. Out there, if you look, my big concern is where is all this money going and why are we penalizing the residents of this city? When I moved out here, it was very nice, a small town, and all of a sudden we wanted to grow everything. With growth comes all this debt you all have piled on us. As far as the residents are concerned, my property taxes went from $327 in 2022 to $493 in 2023, same in 2024. And with the new change you're about to put in, my property taxes go to $679. That's a 107% increase in 3 years. And I'm about to tell you the same thing with your utility bill, so I could tell you, you want me to wait and,
Yes, please. You can
Okay.
come back on that, though.
so, but I realize that things are going up. Those property taxes are not bad. My concern is why are we growing at 20 and 30% a year, both there and in our utility bills?
Thank you, sir. Yep. You can come, yes. Let me also remind the public, this budget to run the town of Oakland for the entire year, this budget is $17 million. If this property tax is adopted tonight, only $3 million of property tax is going to be collected. The vast majority of money that we use to operate this town comes from sales tax, not the property tax. So,
Violet Gray, 45 Emerson Cove. I want to know, I moved here from out of state, and I did some research. I moved here due to the low cost of living. When I first moved, I've been here 4 years. My city property tax was $220. 2 years ago, it went to $440. I'm a senior citizen. I'm 79 years old. I'm on fixed income. I can't afford it. So are we talking about the city tax is going to go up and the county tax is going to go up?
all we're dealing with tonight is a city tax. I do not believe the county is going to raise property taxes.
But since mine doubled from 220 to 440, don't you think that's enough? That's 50%.
I understand. I understand. I don't have a vote. Mr. Massey?
Myron Massey, 55 Lakewood Drive. I remember this conversation with some of you guys, and you said you were vehemently against property taxes. Matter of fact, you said, yeah, you would never do it, and that sales tax was sufficient enough to cover anything we was gonna go in the town of Oakland. You mentioned it several times, and it's kind of curious that given your recent being on the board, all of a sudden now we're gonna go at 40%. And like the young lady you mentioned before, so a lot of people, I can absorb it, my family couldn't absorb that. But the people who are on fixed incomes, who retired, coupled with the utility costs and the water bills, that's unsustainable for some people who have considerable medical bills and have other household obligations. So I've been a cop for a long time. I know they deserve a raise, and maybe some incremental property taxes may be necessary, but I think this might be a bridge too far. Let's just think about what we're asking the people who cannot shoulder that burden. Thank you.
The Industrial Development Board that was just formed is going to bring in commercial business, and it will bring in a lot of sales tax. And let me just say, this budget does take care of our law enforcement specifically. Any one of our law enforcement officers can go right down the street, 15-minute drive, and work for Somerville or work for the Fayette County Sheriff's and get a substantial pay increase. We have very good officers in Oakland. We want to keep them here, and this will bring their pay up in accordance to where they will feel like they're wanted here. Mr. Sutton.
Ken Sutton, Black Ankle Drive, Oakland, Tennessee. I've been in y'all's seats. I know it's tough. I do know it's tough. And, you know, I don't want to pay no more property taxes either, but guess what? If I want the services that we get here in Oakland, that may happen. We're still going to be cheaper. The one thing I want to clear up is when you talk about the appraisal going up 40%, that's not your taxes raising up 40%, because you're only assessed at 25% of the rate. So if it's $100,000, you're going to pay taxes, property tax on $25,000. So on a $200,000 house, you would be assessed at $50,000. And if that property tax rate went up 40%, that would go to $280,000, and it'd be $70,000. So you are going to pay taxes on $20,000 more at the 63 cents. And I just want everybody to understand that. The other thing I want to understand for ladies like this right here in the public, if you literally can't afford this and it's going to impact your living, you can go to the state and apply for tax relief if you're a senior citizen.
They can't do that. They won't do it.
Well,
It depends on your income.
That's right. But I mean, it's about being able to afford it. If you're not able to afford it, then there's relief there. For anybody that's in that situation, there's relief there. You know, I would hate to be sitting in y'all's shoes. I would, but I understand. And the reason why I served on this board, the reason why it's in the shape it's in is because Oakland taxes have been real cheap. Every audit, if you'll go on and look, this town has been wrote up for not having a depreciation. And that's putting money in the bank account. And how that's done, how it should have been done years ago, is when all these subdivisions were built, they should have took the value of the infrastructure. That's not just the paving, it's the water lines, the sewer lines. How much does that cost to put that in for this subdivision? And then when they get it complete, they give that to the town, and the town accepts it. But when they accept it, it's theirs from that point on. Well, if you're not putting money in the bank to repair and replace the infrastructure that's underground, then you're gonna have problems in years to come. A lot of these subdivisions, the lifespan is getting close on some of that stuff. But the money has not been put back because there was no extra money in the budget to put it in the depreciation fund. So I understand what they're facing. I do. I hate for it to go up. I hate y'all are in that situation, but I understand.
Thank you, Mr. Sutton. Yes, ma'am.
Chelsea Cavell, 295 Suzanne. Again, like everybody else, you understand that it needs to be raised a little bit, but 40% you could take into consideration of other people. I mean, 20, 15, something, not 40. And then, again, more transparency on where all that money's going.
Thank you. Well, transparency, how long have these budgets been sitting in the hallway for anybody to come take a copy of?
Real transparency.
It's in black and white, ma'am. Okay. Anybody else who wishes to speak? Anyone at all on the tax rate? All right, well, I will declare the public hearing closed. And I will entertain a motion from an alderman.
Well, do the aldermen get to say anything?
Well, I have to have a motion to hear first.
Oh, okay, well, I'll make a motion to hear.
Motion to hear ordinance 2506. Is there a second? Second from Alderman Campbell. It's a lot to keep up with, Alderman. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, then we can hear ordinance 2506, and the chair will recognize Alderman Hummel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I know, Myra Massey, thank you for your comments. I know I've talked to you in the past, and you've talked to a lot of people up here, but I'll point out to everybody, when I ran for alderman 3 years ago, and I was interviewed at Columbine Coffee Shop, or anybody that asked me, they say, where do you stand on taxes? And I was probably the only candidate that told the truth or was willing to tell you, because I was not panhandling for votes. I definitely said if the need arose and I saw the reason for it, I would definitely vote to raise taxes. And I still got elected because, you know why? I told the truth. And there's been a lot of times that having been on this board, it's been difficult decisions to make that, because I also live on a fixed income, and that's not the reason I moved out to Fayette County. I moved out here for different reasons, but that is certainly a benefit on it. And I read in the newspaper all the time the tax rates for Rossville, Piperton, and these other areas, and it's a lot higher than ours. I probably couldn't afford to put my house in that area down there because of their tax rate. But you have to consider, and someone asked me on the internet, where's the fluff? I can guarantee there is no fluff. If you had been in here when we went through each department and we looked at everything they had and we questioned it, each line item, is this what they needed? These department heads, before they came in here and it was written down, carefully scrutinized it, because they knew that we were either going to cut something. So there is no fluff. And as the past alderman, Ken Sutton, said, and he explained it quite well, if you look on that 25%, that will tell you how much it is. Now, a lot of you pay your taxes with your mortgage, so you don't really see it. It goes up in your mortgage each year. I own my house outright, so I get the bill, I pay it, and it's all in there. Now, mine will go up based on what Alderman Sutton said, based on that 25%. So, but you have to think, if you don't want it, what do you want us to cut? The police protection that we need that places us at 5% in the state of Tennessee for safety? Do we not want to get a fire truck that we need in case your house is burning down? Well, we had to cut it from the budget. So these things are important, you have to consider. And it is, as Ken Sutton said, a tough thing to do up here. It really is. And therefore, I do support this budget and this increase. As our town manager said, we're only going to get, what, 800,000 or something? That's not a lot of money. We have bought land for a fire department that we desperately need out on Highway 64. And that's going to have to cover employees, because if not, we already have, if you look at our fire department reports, we have what they call overrides. That means we've got our fire people out tending to something else, and the bell rings again, and we got to have another truck goes out, and that's required to have so many people on that truck, because we've got to have these areas covered. So, yes, I do support it. It is a hard decision. If you don't want to vote for me in 2026 when I'm up for re-election, so be it. But you're going to appreciate the fact when your house burns down or you need medical assistance, which 80% of our calls is for medical assistance, you're going to want that extra person that we had to put in this budget in order to pay for their salary. So these are things that we desperately need. I hate it, but I do support it. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I think it's hard. I agree with the public. I don't want to pay more. I don't want my taxes to go up, but it is what it is.
May I say something, please?
Not at this moment, ma'am. I'm sorry. Vice Mayor?
I'll go along with what Deputy said. I've always told people, when you live in Oakland, taxes is gonna go up. I don't know when and how much. I've never lied to anybody and said that I wouldn't vote for taxes. But if you live, I don't care where you live, taxes is always gonna go up. Things cost more. You wouldn't believe what the price of some of the stuff that they spending at the water plant and the sewer plant cost now. And I don't wanna go without good water or sewer for a week or two over something that's broke and no money to fix it. But that's been my theory ever since I've been on this board, is it's gonna go up. When and how much, I don't know. And that's my point of it.
Fayette County is, just so everybody understands, you cannot move anywhere else and pay less in total taxes. Fayette County is the least taxed county in the least taxed state in the entirety of the United States government. So that's a fact. Alderman Campbell?
Thank you. I agree with Alderman Hummel. She made comment about 3 weeks ago about a new fire station. If we get that new fire station, also look at your ISO grading will go down, and your insurance rates will drop, will offset some of your taxes that you're gonna have to pay. And I agree with everyone else. It's a bad situation, but we gotta do something. People want more pavement done. We can't do it on 43 cents. It's just impossible.
Any other comments or questions? Mr. Ellis, do you have anything you want to say?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, any other comments? I will entertain a motion when you are ready.
Mr. Mayor, I make the motion to approve ordinance 2506.
I have a motion to approve from Alderman Hummel. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Campbell. We'll do a roll call vote on this.
Yes.
Alderman Campbell, if you
Yes.
agree, yes. Alderman Austin?
Yes.
Alderman Hummel?
Yes.
Alderman Vice Mayor Cates?
Yes.
All right, that is 4 for yes, no for no. Motion passes. All right, next on the agenda is ordinance 2507. This is authorizing a water reduction and a sewer rate increase. And we're going to have a public hearing on this, so I will declare a public hearing open. Is there anybody who wishes to speak? I was looking for you. Come on.
Gary Borth again, Lewis Fairway Circle.
Yes.
I guess the first thing I better ask is, do I have the understanding right on this ordinance? It's $28.39 for the first 1,000 gallons and $8.11 for each additional 1,000 gallons?
For your sewer rate?
For the sewer rate,
Yes.
Water or sewer?
sewer.
$28.39 for the first 1,000 gallons, $8.11 for the next 1,000 gallons,
For each
each 1,000 gallons.
1,000 gallons. Well, I took the liberty of taking my last year's utility bill from the town of Oakland, my usage, and applied it to this, my usage. Last year, my sewer bill was $150. Under your proposal for that 6 months, my sewer bill will now be $457. It's going to almost be up $300 in 6 months. The biggest areas are concerned are you're doing away with the June, July, August fees. For those 3 months, my increase in my bill is 245%, 336%, 343%. The months that are normal, the increase is 97%, 110%, and 130%. My overall utility bill, everything included, sewer, water, and garbage pickup, will end up going up $295 in 6 months after you get the $2 rate reduction. So I encourage you to go back and look at it, look at your numbers, because I guarantee you there's a lot of people in this town that use a lot more gallons of water than I do. But your phone is gonna ring off the wall. So I don't know if anybody looked at it, they figured it out. I gave each one of you a chart with my actual. You can go to the town of Oakland and look it up. Figure your own bill out.
Thank you, sir. I'm gonna let you address some of that in a minute, Harvey. Is there anyone else that's here to speak on water rates? Come on up, Roy. You guys gotta stop talking in the back.
As a lot of people don't know, we borrowed a small fortune for the new sewer plant on a variable rate loan. Variable rate loan. I don't know who's got the best Ouija board in Oakland, but nobody knows what that rate's gonna be when the lenders decide that they're gonna set the new rate. Lenders are not in the business of losing money. We are not gonna get a rate that's cheaper than you could just go over here and buy a CD for at the bank, and that's my prediction. So we're looking at another increase coming up. The tap fees is one of these things, and nobody ever wants to discuss in this town. It's like a nuclear secret. They don't even want to discuss a tap fee. The tap fees, as it applies to the sewer and water rates, are too low, and they are not by ordinance collected and paid toward that massive debt. If they were, we could start paying that principal down and not be sending $1.5 million a year like we are right now in interest alone, just floating it out of Oakland like it just gone forever. The sooner we pay down that principal, the less interest we'll pay for the life of the loan. That's just straight mathematics. More Oakland money will stay in Oakland. You know, speaking from something earlier, we have to raise taxes, for example, because of all this stuff. If we didn't have to spend all this money on interest, maybe we wouldn't have to raise taxes as much. We're having to raise taxes to cover at least $1.4 million in interest. That's just a fact. Wait until we see the variable rate kick in. Thank you.
The problem that I have, Mr. Newhouser, is we cannot apply tap fees to repay the loan. That is a state statute, and no property tax is going to the wastewater department. Only what is collected on bills goes to the wastewater department. Is there anyone else who wants, Mr. Rounds? Yep. Mr. Rounds, you're not a resident.
I have property in the town that I picked.
You're not a resident. You're not a resident, and are you a water customer?
Actually, indirectly, yes.
Sorry, for residents only.
Right.
Sorry.
I was gonna talk about inflation and about how.
I think you'll have time. When's his thing here? When's his thing here?
What's his what?
Constitution thing?
Oh, yeah, July 3rd, July 4th,
He can do
11
it-
o'clock.
He can do it right after.
Yeah, 11 o'clock. on the
Mr.
4th.
Massey?
Yes. Well, I was amazed what his water bill is, and I happened to glance at mine, and I just typically doesn't pay attention to it, but it's like $160. If you look at the raise in what cost of inflation, what Mr. Rounds had mentioned before about the inflation being raised, he's raised the property taxes, you're going to considerably raise the water and sewer. It's unsustainable for some families, and at some point, it has to be about the residents. Can they collectively pay all that? What's the impact these families going to have? They have to make real economic decisions. Some of these families have medical bills that are substantial. You all going to hit them with an extra $200. I mean, I don't do a whole lot. I don't have a swimming pool, or I wash clothes and take a shower and wash some dishes every now and then when my wife gets on me. But I don't make that type of water bill to suggest that much. And I'm just wondering if we can really reconsider this, because you're going to put some economic pain on some people. You really are. And just imagine, he said, the phone's going to ring off the hook, so be prepared. You're going to get beat up online, and arguably so. So I want you to reconsider if you can adjust it. I think right now, couple what you just passed, with the increase of that, it's gonna be really painful for some people. All right, thank you.
Anybody else who would like to speak on the reduction in the water rate or the increase in the sewage? Anyone? Going once, going twice? All right, I'll declare the public hearing closed. And I'll entertain a motion to hear from the alderman.
Motion to hear.
I have a motion to hear ordinance 2507 from Alderman Campbell. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Humble. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Ellis, I'm going to let you address several of these comments and concerns. I empathize with people. My bill's going up and I don't like it, but I know if I move somewhere else, my bill's going to go up even higher.
Just reiterate a few things that have already been mentioned. Just in this next fiscal budget, $350,000 additional depreciation was added. I believe next year we're gonna have to add $700,000, just in the sewer fund. Just in the sewer fund. We talked about sewer, because the water rate, there is a slight reduction, but it is a reduction. We hired MTAS, Municipal Technical Advisory Service. That's who most municipalities use as consultants. They have engineers, they have attorneys. We use them on almost a daily basis. And we hired them to do a rate study. Lori and myself and other staff worked on a rate study. This is as low a sewer rate as we could possibly enact and meet our debt. We had to borrow $25 million to upgrade our wastewater treatment plant. Again, not pointing fingers, but if that had been done 5 years ago, 6 years ago, it definitely would have been a little cheaper. It is what it is. We had a 1 million gallon a day wastewater treatment plant that we opened in 2007. It's over capacity. It's been over capacity for a year.
Hey, Harvey, move your microphone so you're talking into it.
It's been over capacity for at least a year. Again, this is not something that we just got together one day and scribbled down and said, yeah, that's what we want to do. We have no choice. The water fund and wastewater fund are enterprise funds. They're not commingled with property taxes. They are generated, they have to be self-sufficient. They're considered, I hate to use the word, but you could look at it as a monopoly. You have to be self-sufficient. If you have a negative or deficit in funds for 2 years in a row, state comptroller comes in and sets your rates for you. So this is what we had to do to avoid going down that path. It's ugly. It's a lot of money. Putting that kind of debt on 5,000 customers, it's horrible. But we have no other choice. Tap fees, speak on that. Tap fees are not a recurring revenue. If the economy tanks, people stop moving here, your tap fees go to zero. So you can't rely on tap fees to pay this debt. We're obligated to pay the debt. As far as a variable rate mortgage, the loan was signed for a 5-year term. After 5 years, if I'm here, I will do my best to refinance that, and hopefully we can get a little better rate and save some money. Coming up in the next few months, we are looking at entering into a contract with a new sanitation company, possibly, put it out for bids. After we do a little more research, it looks like we may be able to save a few dollars on that if we change to this other company, but that's coming up in the next few months. It's just a little here and a little there, but I want you to know we're trying everything we can do to keep this under control, where you can want to live here and afford to live here, and also get the services that you need and comply with state regulations and federal regulations.
And Mr. Ellis, in all fairness, you did look at this and you realized that there was an overage in the water department. That's why you're getting a small reduction in your water bill. Everybody's water bill is going down. It may only be $2, but it's $2 that we could afford. So your water bill is going down a little bit, your sewage rate's going up, but the sewage rate is going up because we have to pay it.
One other point, if you irrigate, we do have an option, and everybody may not know about it. You can come in and pay for an irrigation meter. I believe it's $500. You don't get charged sewer on that. It's water only. So if you irrigate or if you have something you do, a pool, whatever you want to do, if you could maximize that, do the math, and save money over the long term, a $500 irrigation meter would be a good investment. You may not have known about that.
I do agree with the gentleman in his comments that we should have a set rate for the summer. I know that makes me unpopular with the guy who runs the wastewater plant and probably the town manager, but I agree with that. I do not like charging customers to treat water we know we are not treating. I still want to, at some point, revisit the ordinance to have a freeze in the summer months. Is there any alderman who has a comment? Ms. Hummel?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Based on the comment you just said, and also on the comment from an individual, the gentleman that happened to bring up in his comments about the June, July, and August water saving that we have had and enjoyed. And originally it was very low. I think last year, whatever, we had to go up quite a bit on it. And at one time, there was a study done by one of our aldermen 3 years ago, maybe even 4 years ago, that said that, well, maybe we should eliminate that altogether. I think it referred to it as low-hanging fruit. And that it turned out the money that we would save or get as a result of eliminating that perk that we get would be about $50,000. And that could be added to the budget. Now, that is going away. I think Mr. Ellis said the last month for that was June or July.
We will get 1 month in this, if this is approved, we'll get the June adjustment. We'll get one adjustment this.
And when this research was done, it was discovered that Oakland's the only one that does this. Nobody else offers this little perk. You know, it's kind of like what your bill, what comes in, comes out. And again, it's like what Mr. Ellis said, you can get one of these irrigation systems. If you're watering your yard a lot, then yes, what comes in goes out, even though it's not going through the sewer. But again, we were the only municipality that was offering this perk, and unfortunately, this has gone away. And as they said, if you don't, if we do not raise these rates, we will have the comptroller knocking on our door and saying, I'm here, and they're going to take control over it. So we're not here to make money off of it. Trust me. It's just that we have to do it.
Alderman Hummel, if the comptroller takes over, will the rates go up or down?
I got a feeling they'll go up
Significantly.
significantly.
Is Director Armstrong here? Is he here? Have you read all the water meters for this month?
No, sir, we start tomorrow.
You start tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Use all the water.
So go home and fill up your bathtubs and your fish bowls and your pot, okay?
We start metering tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or comments from the alderman? Okay. I'm prohibited from doing so, sir. I'll take a motion whenever you're ready. And I will let the public know, while the budget is negotiable and the property tax rate is negotiable, and we never are absolutely certain how much sales tax it will or will not come in, this is a certainty. We know what we're doing at the plant. We have a very good wastewater director. We know we have to pay these debts. So. Motion when you're ready.
I'll go ahead and make a motion, Mr. Mayor, that we approve ordinance 25-07.
A motion to approve from Alderman Hummel. Is there a second? Second. Second from the Vice Mayor. We'll do a roll call vote. Madam Recorder? Alderman Campbell?
Yes.
Alderman Austin?
Yes.
Alderman Hummel?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Cates?
Yes.
4 yeses, 0 noes. Motion passes. All righty. Moving on to consideration of resolutions for new business. We have Resolution 2519 authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract for auditing services for fiscal year 2026. Do I have a motion to hear?
Motion here.
Motion to hear from the Vice Mayor. Mr. Ellis.
Yes, earlier in the year, March, I asked you guys to allow me to put out a request for qualifications for auditing firms. We've been with our current firm for 5 years. It's just good business practice to rotate every 3 to 5 years. So I reached out to Godwin and Associates of Savannah, Tennessee, a very well reputable company, well known. They're actually doing the town of Somerville. They have been doing it for quite a while. Just to give you a little update.
I can't hear right there.
Chief, can you close that door?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir.
That's county, ma'am.
Go
To give
ahead.
you a little update, our staff has been working close with the town of Somerville on getting our information ready for audit, and we've also adopted a lot of their policies and procedures to streamline things that the way we were doing it here. And I think that relationship, building that relationship and then working with us was one of the main reasons that Godwin reached out and said they would work with us. And again, I'm recommending that we enter into a professional agreement contract with Godwin and Associates out of Savannah, Tennessee, to do our audit for the next 3 years, or take it 1 year at a time.
And this being a professional, this isn't something we had to put out for bid, this is a professional contract, is that correct?
Correct. And as far as the rate they're gonna charge, I did get a similar letter from our current company, and it was right there together. They're
That was my question.
yes, they're the same.
Any questions?
Can we just do a 2-year contract with one option instead of a
I
3?
think the resolution says,
I know.
This is a 1-year contract, Mr. Ellis?
With 2 years out?
I think it's 1 year with two renewable
Okay.
options, yes.
Okay.
2 additional years.
All right, it's 1 year with 2 additional year out, that's
Yes.
fine.
All right, Ms. Hummel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I do support the staff recommendation that we accept the Goodwin Associates, because in all of my utility training, which is mandatory we take, is first and foremost comes up when it talks about your auditing services. It says you should not use the same firm year after year after year after year. And we have been using the prior Wickberg accounting services, again, from 2020, 2021, 22, 23, and 24. That's way over time that we need to change auditing services. And that's why I'm excited about using this new firm.
It's always good to have different people looking over your books.
It certainly is.
Any other questions or comments? Can I get a motion? Not all at once.
Make a motion to pass.
I have a motion to accept from Vice Mayor Cates. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderman Campbell. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. If there's no other business here tonight, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Somebody, thank you. Chair accepts the motion. We're adjourned.
And y'all do come July the 4th to the Activity Center to hear about the Declaration of Independence.